Hey guys, Theo Joe Tech here. As you may know, I was at E3 about a week and a half ago, so I thought that I would show you all the footage I got and talk a little bit about what it's like to be at E3 based on my first experience there. If you've never been there, I think you'll find this interesting. The first thing you do when you pull up in that shuttle bus is you're basically just bombarded by the giant massiveness of the Los Angeles Convention Center. There are massive game poster billboards up. There's one for Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty. I mean, it was absolutely massive. You see these posters and pictures, but it's not until it's right in front of you until you realize just how massive these posters are. Now, when you first walk into the lobby, it's not as crowded as the show floor. I got a little bit of footage after the hours when it was pretty much emptied out, so it's a little interesting to see it that way. And there were two different main halls. There was the West Hall, which had Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo's booths, which, booths, but they were pretty much regions or sections of the whole conference floor. And then the South Hall had a lot of publishers, game devs, that kind of thing. But there was a lot going on at both. There definitely wasn't a main hall. Now, each of the big companies' sections was colored differently, which is understandable. Xbox was green, Sony was blue, Nintendo was kind of purple and blue and pink. They kind of changed the colors, but you could definitely tell where you were if you were in one of those sections. Now, the Xbox section in the West Hall, they had a bunch of different consoles set up where, you could check out the new Xbox Elite controller. They had other games. They had the Halo 5 line and experience there. I tried HoloLens, that's what that was. They also had the broadcast deck, which was overlooking the Xbox area. I was actually able to convince them to let me up for a few seconds just to get some footage. No one was broadcasting, so they didn't have a problem with it, so I got a cool shot there. They also had some other stuff, like a little theater where they demoed Tomb Raider, and just other displays in general where you could check out some Xbox games. The Sony section seemed to be a little bit more wide open, just like at the Xbox area. They had consoles set up. They had these 3 massive theaters where they were demoing 3 different games for 15 minutes each. You could go. And they had other little presentations for other services. They had PlayStation Vue, which is a service that Sony's providing to basically replace cable. You go on there on your PlayStation, you can DVR shows, you get the channel lineup almost as if it was just a cable box. Also at Sony was Project Morpheus. They had these little booths, I guess you would call them, more like open rooms where they were demoing people with Morpheus, and there was a tape where other people could just watch what was going on in there. And it seemed like they were actually making people sign waivers when you were going to demo Morpheus. And the line for that was insane. You had to actually use the app to sign up, even if you're a media. Well, not really. I'll talk about it in a bit. So there was a lot of people waiting in line at that to get Morpheus. Nintendo's area was pretty cool. They had a big giant screen where they were showing some Mario gameplay. They also had a big stage you might have seen where they were streaming live on the internet. Treehouse, I believe, was called. They had Mario Maker, which seemed to be pretty cool. I was watching that for a little while. You can pretty much just make your own Mario level. And they also had these amiibo things. I don't know what they are, to be honest, but a lot of people were getting really excited about them, so I just got some footage. Now, the South Hall took a couple minute walk to get there, but I noticed a lot of game publishers, game devs, like Bethesda was there, showing off Fallout Shelter, Doom, Dishonored. They had a lot of cool displays like the Pip-Boy thing that's going to be coming with a certain version of Fallout 4. I really enjoyed checking out the Bethesda booth. 2K Games was also there. Square Enix was doing a little presentation about the new Hitman game. And Ubisoft had a really big spot where they had a stage and then surrounded by 4 corners where they were demoing 4 different games that you could watch and play if you waited. They were Rainbow Six Siege, The Division, For Honor, and Assassin's Creed. I actually got a chance to play Rainbow Six Siege. I played one game, which is about 5 rounds. It was a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to the new Rainbow Six game because I've always been a fan of that series. I was able to watch a game of Division. It seemed really interesting. There was actually more than 2 teams. I think it was 4 teams all in the same map trying to basically extract some intel and defend the extraction point, that kind of stuff. But I thought it was interesting that there were 4 different teams playing in one game. Also in the South Hall was the YouTube gaming booth. If you didn't know, YouTube is actually launching a new platform just for gaming that's going to be kind of separate from regular YouTube. Since so many people on YouTube are gamers, they are developing a platform that is designed just for gamers. That booth was pretty big, bigger than Twitch's, I think. They were doing some broadcasting. They had a lot of people from YouTube there who I talked to about YouTube gaming. They had the YouTube gaming website on display, so you could try it out on a tablet, phone, laptop. If you're interested in knowing more about that, I'll put a link to a video I did on my other YouTube news and training channel where you can see exactly how the YouTube gaming works. I tried it out so you can see demos of it. Next to the YouTube booth, they had this Indiecade, which was a lot of different indie games, which all seemed pretty cool. Some were really interesting, actually. You played the game using a giant tennis ball. I don't really know how that worked. Another one, you press this square pad, but it seemed really interesting that it wasn't just all big developers. There were some interesting games at the Indiecade. Next to that, they had a history of gaming exhibit where they had some old consoles out, which was really interesting to see, like the Atari. I made a joke video about that, but it was cool to see all the old stuff. And I guess that covers the main stuff from the South Hall. Now, there was one more thing that I thought was really interesting. This wasn't in any of the halls. It was the Sony meeting room / press room. I think this was probably one of the best kept secrets, at least to me, during the whole E3 thing. It was up in the conference rooms away from all the exhibits. I don't know if this was just for press, but they let me in with the press pass and my friend who told me about it. But you go in and they had all these different games on display and it wasn't crowded. They had a lot of times the developers right there with the games, so you could talk to them while you're playing. They had Morpheus demos, so you didn't have to wait using the app that I was talking about or wait in the big line. Unfortunately, I didn't know about this secret room until later into the conference, but it was still awesome. I got a private demo of Horizon Zero Dawn with the developers there, basically for 15 or 20 minutes. They played a section of the gameplay and then answered questions, talked about the game that's coming out in 2016, and it was a really interesting, demo, and I thought it was just so cool. It was just me and then 3 other people and then the 2 devs just in a little room talking about the game. They didn't allow footage in this demo, but I got a cool picture of the devs. They were nice enough to pose with the game and let us take that picture. So yeah, the room was really cool. Here's another picture of it. I completely forgot to get any actual footage of it, of the room itself, but you should be able to kind of get an idea of it. It was just a cool place to chill and hang out away from all the hustle and bustle of the rest of the conference. Now, besides all the game devs, there were different hardware manufacturers. They had Turtle Beach, Plantronics, different headset manufacturers. There was some other cool stuff. There was a controller on display on one of the walls, kind of away from the exhibits, which looked like it was almost holographic. I don't even know what the display was for, but it just looked really cool, so you can see a little bit of footage of that. And overall, everything was just tricked out. It was like sensory overload and a great time. And that's really all I thought about it. It was really a great time. If you guys are interested in some other videos I made, I did a video talking about the HoloLens, which I tried out, and also the Xbox Elite controller. Those links will be on the right-hand side. If you guys want to subscribe, feel free. I make videos weekly. If you're interested in this kind of stuff, you can also like the video if you found it interesting. Definitely let me know in the comments. I love to hear feedback from you guys. I always read the comments, and that's pretty much it. So thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next time. Have a good one.